Listen to me right now. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what they said about you. I don't care what mistakes you've made. God has more for you. See, some of you have gotten comfortable. You've settled. You convinced yourself that where you are is all there is. But I came to tell you today, no, that's a lie. God didn't put you on this earth just to survive. He didn't breathe life into your body just so you could wake up, go to work, pay bills, and die. That's not your story. God has more peace, more joy, more strength, more blessings, more opportunities, more doors opening, more. But listen to me. You got to stop thinking small. You got to stop doubting yourself. You got to stop letting your past define your future. See, when God called Moses, Moses was like, who am I? He didn't think he was good enough. But God had more for him. When David was out in the field, they didn't even invite him in the house when they were picking the next king. But God had more for him. Joseph was thrown in a pit, betrayed, locked up, forgotten. But God had more for him. And if he had more for them, then you better believe he's got more for you. But here's the thing. You can't just sit there and wait. You can't just pray about it and do nothing. You got to move. You got to put in the work. You got to have faith and then take action. The Bible says faith without works is dead. That means if you believe God has more, you need to start acting like it, walk like it, talk like it, live like it. Some of you are walking around defeated, like your story is over. But let me remind you, if you woke up this morning, God's not done with you yet. If you've still got breath in your lungs, that means there's more. So today I need you to make a decision. I need you to say, I refuse to settle. I refuse to stay stuck. I refuse to let fear, doubt, or my past hold me back. I am stepping into the more that God has for me. Because listen, the enemy wants you to stay down. The enemy wants you to believe you've peaked. The enemy wants you to think that's all there is. But God said, I have plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So go get it. Stop making excuses. Stop procrastinating. Stop waiting for permission. God already gave you the green light. The question is, will you step into the more that he has for you? Hey, God has more for you. Stop settling. Too many people are living beneath their potential, accepting a life that is far less than what they were created for. They've been knocked down, disappointed, and let down so many times that they convinced themselves that where they are is all there is. They've stopped dreaming, stopped believing, stopped pushing for more because they've been conditioned to think that what they have now is the best they can ever achieve. But that's a lie. See, life will test you. Life will throw obstacles in your path to make you believe that your dreams are too big, that your goals are unrealistic, that you should just be grateful for what you have and stop wanting more. And while gratitude is important, settling is not the same as being grateful. You can be thankful for what you have while still striving for more. You can acknowledge how far you've come without giving up on how much further you can go. But the moment you decide that this is all there is, the moment you stop fighting for the life God has for you, you've settled. People settle for a lot of reasons. Some settle because they're afraid of failure. They don't want to take risk because they failed before, and the pain of failing again feels too great. But listen to me, failure is not final. Failure is feedback. It's proof that you tried. It's a lesson, not a life sentence. Just because you fail once, twice, or even 10 times doesn't mean you won't win if you keep going. The most successful people in the world aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who never quit. Others settle because they're surrounded by people who have settled. If you spend all your time with people who think small, dream small, and live small, you're going to start thinking that's normal. You're going to start believing that wanting more is selfish, that pushing for greatness is unnecessary, that being comfortable is the goal. But that's not how you were created to live. You were designed for more. You were built for greatness. You were put on this earth to grow, to elevate, to make an impact, not just exist. Then there are those who settle because they've been hurt. They tried to step into more, but people let them down. They trusted the wrong person, got burned, and now they don't want to try again. They're afraid to love again. afraid to dream again, afraid to believe again. But listen, pain is part of the process. You can't avoid it. You can't run from it, but you can't let it make you settle either. Every great success story has chapters of pain, betrayal, and disappointment. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is that the ones who make it refuse to let their pain define their future. Maybe you've settled because you think you're too old, too young, too inexperienced, too broken, too far gone. Maybe you've convinced yourself that your moment is past, that your window of opportunity is closed, that you missed your shot. But I need you to hear me right now. If you're still breathing, God still has more for you. I don't care if you're 20 or 70, whether you made mistakes or played it safe, whether you think you wasted years of your life or feel like you never got started, it's not too late. It's never too late to step into what God has for you. Look at the people who changed the world. They weren't always the strongest, the smartest, or the most qualified. They were just the ones who refused to settle. They were the ones who believed there was more for them even when no one else did. They were the ones who showed up, put in the work, and trusted that if they didn't quit, eventually doors would open. And that's exactly what you need to do. You have to stop making excuses for why you can't have more, why you can't do more, why you can't be more. You have to stop believing the lies that tell you this is all there is. You have to stop listening to people who don't have the vision to see where you're going. You have to stop settling for average when you were created for greatness. Settling is easy, it's comfortable, it doesn't require risk, it doesn't require faith, it doesn't require effort, but it also doesn't lead to purpose, fulfillment, or impact. The life you truly desire, the one you know deep down you were meant for, isn't going to come from settling. It's going to come from stretching, from growing, from pushing past your fears, from trusting that God didn't bring you this far to leave you here. Everything you want, everything you're praying for, everything you're working toward, it's on the other side of settling. The moment you decide that where you are is not where you're supposed to stay, that's the moment everything changes. The moment you refuse to accept less than what you were created for, that's the moment doors start opening. The moment you stop settling, that's the moment you start living. Your past does not define your future. Too many people are walking around with the weight of their past on their shoulders, carrying guilt, shame, regret, and fear like it's their identity. They look at what they've been through, the mistakes they've made, the failures they've experienced, and they let those things determine what's possible for their future. They believe that because they messed up before, they'll mess up again. Because they were hurt before, they'll always be hurt. Because they lost before, they'll never win. But that is a lie. Your past is not a life sentence. It's not a prison. It's not a prophecy of what's to come. It's a lesson. It's experience. It's something that happened, not something that defines who you are. Just because you made bad choices doesn't mean you are a bad person. Just because you failed doesn't mean you are a failure. Just because you were broken doesn't mean you are beyond repair. The only way your past can control you is if you let it. The enemy wants you to believe that you'll never escape your past, that you'll always be stuck in the same cycles, repeating the same mistakes, facing the same disappointments. He wants you to believe that you're not worthy of a new beginning, that you don't deserve a fresh start, that you're too far gone to ever get back on. But that's not the truth. Look at the people who have done incredible things in life. They weren't perfect. They didn't have spotless past. Some of them came from the worst situations imaginable. They made poor choices, struggled with addiction, went to jail, lost everything, failed over and over again. But they refused to let their past dictate their future. They decided that their mistakes were not going to be the final chapter of their story. They got up, they changed, they grew, and they became something greater than their past. The problem is, some people get so used to identifying with their past that they don't know who they are without it. They've been the one who always messes up for so long that they don't know how to see themselves as someone who can win. They've been carrying pain for so long that they don't know what life would look like without it. And even though they want more, even though they dream of a different future, they sabotage themselves because deep down, they don't believe they deserve it. You have to let go of the idea that your past disqualifies you. It doesn't. If anything, it qualifies you. It has prepared you, strengthened you, built you. The pain you went through gave you wisdom. The mistakes you made taught you lessons. The failures you experienced built resilience. Everything you've been through has given you something valuable, even if it didn't feel like it at the time. The question is, are you going to keep letting your past be an anchor, weighing you down, keeping you stuck in the same place? Or are you going to let it be a stepping stone, something you learn from, grow from, and use to propel you into your future? Because the only difference between the people who stay in the past and the people who move forward is the decision to stop letting the past have power over them. Some of you have been carrying guilt for things you did years ago, things you can't go back and change. You replay those moments in your mind, wishing you could do it differently, but you can't. What you can do is choose to be better now. You can take the lessons you learned and apply them to your life today. You can stop punishing yourself for something that God already forgave you for. You can stop holding on to shame that was never meant to be yours to carry. Others have been hurt by people, betrayed, abandoned, rejected, and instead of healing, they've let that pain define them. They built their identity around being the person who was left, the person who was mistreated, the person who wasn't good enough. But you are not what happened to you. You are not the pain you went through. You are not the words they spoke over you. You are not defined by the people who didn't see your worth. You have the power to rewrite your story. You have the power to decide that your past is just one chapter, not the whole book. You have the power to step into something new, something greater, something that reflects who you truly are, not who you used to be. You have to stop giving your past control over your future. You have to stop believing the lie that because it happened before, it will happen again. Some of the greatest people in history had rough past. They made terrible choices, went down the wrong path, did things they weren't proud of, but they made a decision to change. They made a decision to not let their past dictate their future. They took responsibility for their lives, took the lessons from their past, and built something better. You have that same choice. You can either keep looking back, letting the past define you, letting old wounds control you, letting past failures limit you, or you can decide that today is the day you stop allowing your history to determine your destiny. Today is the day you start walking in the truth that you are not your past. Faith without action is dead. Move. Too many people are sitting around waiting for something to happen in their lives. They pray for change. They hope for a breakthrough. They talk about their dreams. But when it comes time to take action, they freeze. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect set of circumstances before they start moving. But the truth is, there will never be a perfect moment. There will never be a time when everything lines up just right. You have to move now. Faith is not just believing that something will happen. Faith is acting like it's already done. It's preparing for what you prayed for. It's stepping out, even when you don't see the full picture. It's trusting that if you start walking, God will order your steps. But most people don't move because they're afraid. They're afraid of failing, afraid of looking foolish, afraid that if they take the first step, nothing will happen. But listen, faith is not about knowing every detail before you move. Faith is about stepping out when it doesn't make sense, when it's uncomfortable, when you don't have all the answers. Some people use faith as an excuse to be passive. They say they're waiting on God, but really, they're just scared to take action. They say they're believing for a better life, but they're not doing anything to make it happen. They say they want to start a business, go back to school, change their situation, but they keep waiting for a sign, waiting for a confirmation, waiting for someone to tell them it's time. But God has already given you everything you need. He's given you the vision, the idea, the dream. Now he's waiting on you to move. You can't sit back and expect things to fall into your lap. You have to show up. You have to put in the work. You have to step into the opportunities that are in front of you. Some of you are praying for doors to open, but you haven't even gotten up to knock. You're asking for a miracle, but you're not preparing yourself to receive it. You're believing for more, but your actions don't reflect your faith. Faith requires movement. It requires risk. It requires stepping outside of your comfort zone. You can't stay where you are and expect to see change. You have to be willing to go through the process, to put in the effort, to trust that even if you don't see results right away, something is happening. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean things aren't shifting. Just because it doesn't happen overnight doesn't mean it's not working. Too many people quit because they don't see immediate results. They take one step, don't see a change, and give up. But faith is persistent. Faith keeps moving even when nothing seems to be happening. Faith says, I don't see it yet, but I know it's coming. Faith doesn't wait for proof before it moves. It moves because it believes the proof will come. You have to start acting like the person you want to become. You have to start living like your prayers have already been answered. You have to start making decisions that align with where you're going, not where you are. If you say you believe in something, your actions should reflect that belief. You can't say you have faith in God's plan, but refuse to take the steps to walk in it. You can't say you're believing for a breakthrough, but stay in the same place, doing the same things, making the same excuses. Some people are stuck in the same cycle year after year because they won't move. They won't take that leap of faith. They won't step into the unknown. They keep waiting, hoping, wishing, but nothing changes because they refuse to act. They let fear stop them. They let doubt hold them back. They let the opinions of others keep them from walking into what God has for them. But at some point, you have to decide that you're not going to let anything stop you. You have to decide that you're going to move, no matter how scary it is, no matter how uncertain it feels, no matter what anyone else says. The people who succeed, the people who make an impact, the people who step into greatness are not the ones who just believe. They're the ones who believe and take action. They're the ones who refuse to sit still when they know they're called to more. They're the ones who don't just talk about it, they do something about it. You can't wait for everything to make sense before you move. You can't wait for all the pieces to come together before you take the first step. Sometimes you have to step out before you see the staircase. Sometimes you have to start before you feel ready. Sometimes you have to trust that God will provide along the way, not before you begin. How many opportunities have you missed because you were too afraid to move? How many doors could have opened if you had just taken that first step? How much further could you be right now if you had stopped waiting and started doing? The difference between the life you have and the life you want is action. The difference between staying where you are and stepping into more is movement. The difference between a dream and reality is execution. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know every detail. You just have to be willing to move. You are not forgotten. God sees you. There are moments in life when you feel invisible, when it seems like no one notices you, no one understands you, no one values you. You show up every day, you work hard, you try to do the right thing, but it feels like no one cares. You look around and see other people getting opportunities, getting recognition, moving forward, and you wonder, what about me? You question if your efforts even matter, if anyone even sees the sacrifices you've made, if all your hard work is in vain. There are people who feel overlooked in their own homes. They take care of their families, they pour into their relationships, they give and give, but it seems like no one appreciates them. Some feel invisible at their jobs, working tirelessly, giving their best, yet watching others get promoted while they remain in the same place. Some have dreams and goals, but no one supports them. No one believes in them. No one acknowledges their potential. They feel ignored, abandoned, forgotten. And when you feel forgotten by people long enough, you start to wonder if God has forgotten you too. You pray, but it seems like there's no answer. You believe for better, but nothing changes. You hear about breakthroughs happening for other people, but your situation stays the same. And after a while, doubt creeps in. You start asking, God, do you even see me? Do you even hear me? Do you even care? But let me tell you something. God sees you. He has seen every tear you've cried, every silent battle you fought, every night you stayed up wondering if things would ever get better. He has seen the times you wanted to give up, but kept going anyway. He has seen the times you felt alone, but still showed up. He has seen the sacrifices you made when no one was watching. He has seen your pain, your struggles, your faith, your perseverance. God saw Joseph when he was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, left for dead, sold into slavery, locked in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Everyone else forgot about him. His family forgot about him. The people he helped forgot about him. But God never did. God was working behind the scenes, positioning him for something greater, preparing him for a future that was beyond anything he could have imagined. God saw Hagar when she was in the wilderness, abandoned, desperate, ready to give up. She thought no one saw her, no one cared, no one was coming to rescue her. But God showed up. He called her by name. He reminded her that she was not alone, that she was not forgotten, that he had a plan for her, even in the middle of what looked like a hopeless situation. God saw David when he was out in the field taking care of sheep while his brothers were being considered for greatness. His own father didn't even think he was worth bringing inside, but God had already chosen him. While others overlooked him, God had already anointed him for something greater. God saw you before you were even born. He knew you before anyone else did. He formed you, designed you, set you apart for a purpose. You were not an accident. Your life is not random. You are not just another person walking through life unnoticed. You are known, you are loved, you are seen. The problem is we live in a world where people crave validation from others. We want to be noticed. We want people to acknowledge us, to recognize our worth, to tell us we matter. And when they don't, we start believing we don't have value. But your worth is not determined by people, whether they see you or not, whether they acknowledge you or not, whether they support you or not. God already called you valuable. Sometimes God will allow you to go through seasons of being hidden, not because he has forgotten you, but because he is preparing you. There are things he is developing in you, strengthening in you, growing in you. There are battles he is training you for, doors he is setting up for you to walk through. And if he exposed you too soon, if he put you in the spotlight before you were ready, it could destroy you. Being hidden doesn't mean being forgotten. It means being prepared. It means God is working in ways you can't see. It means he is building something in you so that when the moment comes, you will be ready to step into the fullness of what he has for you. But the enemy wants you to believe that because no one sees you now, you don't matter. That because no one acknowledges you, you're not important. That because you haven't stepped into your breakthrough yet, it's never going to happen. He wants you to get discouraged, to give up, to walk away from the very thing God is about to bless. You have to stop measuring your worth by who notices you. Stop basing your value on how many people support you. Stop letting the opinions of others dictate how you see yourself. Just because they don't see you doesn't mean you're not valuable. Just because they don't acknowledge you doesn't mean God isn't working on your behalf. Think about a seed in the ground. When it's planted, no one sees what's happening. It looks like nothing is changing, nothing is growing, nothing is moving, but beneath the surface, roots are forming, foundations are being laid, strength is being built. And when the time is right, that seed pushed through the dirt and grows into something beautiful. Right now, you may feel like that seed, buried, hidden, unseen, but just because people can't see what's happening doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is growing something in you. He is strengthening you. He is preparing you. And when the time is right, he will bring you into the place he has prepared for you. Some of you are on the verge of quitting because you feel like nothing is changing. You've been faithful. You've been praying. You've been working, but you feel like you're stuck in the same place. But what if you're closer than you think? What if the breakthrough is right around the corner? What if God is about to open the door you've been waiting for? The enemy wants you to walk away before you see it, but God is saying, keep going. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where you need to be. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep moving forward, keep showing up, even when it feels like no one notices, because the one who matters most sees you. Your current situation is not your final destination. Too many people look at where they are right now and assume that this is where they'll always be. They feel stuck, trapped by their circumstances, overwhelmed by their struggles, convinced that things will never change. They look at their bank account, their career, their relationships, their personal battles, and they see nothing but limitation. They tell themselves, this is just my life. This is as good as it gets. But that is a lie. Your current situation is not your permanent situation. Where you are right now is not where you are going to stay. You may be in a season of struggle, a season of waiting, a season where nothing seems to be working in your favor, but that does not mean that's where your story ends. God has more for you. He has a future for you that is bigger than your present reality, but you have to believe it. You have to trust that what you see right now is not all there is. The problem is most people give up in the middle of the process. They get tired of waiting, tired of trying, tired of pushing forward when it feels like nothing is changing. They let their temporary struggle convince them that this is all there is. But nothing in life is permanent. Just like seasons change, just like storms pass, just like night turns into day, your current reality will not last forever. The only way it becomes permanent is if you decide to stay there. You have to stop thinking that just because something has been a certain way for a long time, it will always be that way. You have to stop believing that your past determines your future. Just because you've been struggling doesn't mean you'll always struggle. Just because you've been in the same place for years doesn't mean you're stuck there forever. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Some of you are so close to a breakthrough, but you're letting your frustration make you believe that it's never coming. You've been working, you've been grinding, you've been showing up every single day, and you don't see the results yet. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Some things take time. Some things require patience. Some things are being built beneath the surface before they can be revealed. Think about the process of building a house. Before you ever see the structure, before you ever see the walls go up, before you ever see the final product, the foundation has to be laid. And that foundation takes time. It has to be strong. It has to be secure. It has to be built properly, because without a solid foundation, the entire house will collapse. Some of you are in the foundation stage. You're being built. You're being strengthened. You're being prepared for what's next. But what happens if you quit before the house is finished? What happens if you walk away in the middle of the process? You never get to see what it was supposed to become. And that's exactly what the enemy wants you to do. He wants you to quit before you see the promise. He wants you to believe that just because you're in a tough season, that means God has forgotten about you. He wants you to think that just because you don't see the outcome yet, that means it's never coming. But you have to remind yourself that your current situation is not your final destination. If you're struggling financially, that doesn't mean you'll always be broke. If you're in a dead-end job, that doesn't mean you'll never move forward. If you're battling depression, that doesn't mean you'll never feel joy again. If you're dealing with rejection, pain, heartbreak, that doesn't mean you'll never experience love, healing, or restoration. You have to keep going even when it feels like nothing is changing. You have to keep believing even when it looks impossible. You have to keep working even when you don't see the results yet, because everything can change in a moment. One opportunity, one decision, one open door can shift everything in your favor. Some of you are one step away from everything you've been praying for, but you're letting fear and frustration convince you to stop walking. You don't realize how close you are. You don't realize that the struggle you're in right now is just part of the journey, not the destination. You don't realize that every step back, every obstacle, every challenge is just another step toward what's coming next. You have to start seeing your situation differently. Instead of seeing obstacles, start seeing opportunities. Instead of seeing delays, start seeing preparation. Instead of seeing setbacks, start seeing setups. Because everything you're going through right now is preparing you for what's coming. Look at the people who have achieved great things in life. None of them got there without struggle. None of them got there without going through difficult seasons. They all had moments where they felt like giving up. They all had times when it looked like nothing was working. They all faced challenges, rejection, failure. But the difference between them and the people who never make it is that they didn't stop. They didn't let their temporary struggles define their future success. Your story is not over. Your situation is not the end. What you see right now is not the full picture. God is still writing your story. He is still working on your behalf. He is still opening doors, still making a way, still leading you toward the future He has planned for you. But you have to trust the process. You have to keep moving forward. You have to refuse to settle for less than what He has promised you. Some of you have been settling for things that are beneath your potential because you're afraid to believe for more. You've convinced yourself that where you are is as good as it gets, that you should just be grateful for what you have and stop wanting more. But God did not create you to live an average, mediocre life. He did not put dreams in your heart just to tease you. He did not bring you this far just to leave you. You have to stop settling for less than what you deserve. You have to stop accepting things that don't align with the vision God has given you. You have to stop shrinking yourself to fit into a situation that was never meant to be permanent. Because if you're not careful, you will let temporary circumstances make you give up on a future that is so much bigger than where you are right now. Some of you are frustrated because you feel like you should be further along by now. You thought you'd be in a different place, thought things would have changed by now, thought you'd have more progress, more success, more stability, and because it hasn't happened yet, you've started to doubt if it ever will. But just because it hasn't happened on your timeline doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You have to stop looking at the clock and start looking at the process. Stop worrying about how long it's taking and start focusing on what you're learning along the way. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's and start trusting that God's timing is always perfect. Because when the time is right, nothing can stop what God has for you. Where you are right now is not the end of your story. The chapter you're in right now is not the final chapter. The struggle you're facing right now is not how your story ends. Your current situation is just a stepping stone to something greater. Keep going, keep pushing, keep believing, because this is not where your story ends. Your pain has a purpose. Too many people go through life thinking that their pain is meaningless. They go through struggles, hardships, heartbreaks, and setbacks, and all they see is suffering. They ask, why me? They wonder why they had to go through what they went through, why life has been so hard, why they had to experience loss, rejection, failure. And because they don't understand it, they let their pain define them. They let it break them, discourage them, make them bitter. But what if I told you that your pain is not wasted? What if I told you that every tear, every hardship, every struggle is a part of something bigger? Nobody likes pain. Nobody wakes up in the morning hoping to suffer. Nobody asks for heartbreak, for failure, for disappointment. But pain is a part of life. Pain is a part of growth. Pain is a part of becoming everything that God has called you to be. And if you let it, pain can either destroy you or develop you. The choice is yours. The problem is too many people let pain make them quit. The moment life gets hard, they stop trying. The moment they face rejection, they give up. The moment they experience failure, they assume they're not good enough. They start believing that because they went through something painful, that means they're broken. But pain is not a sign that you are broken. Pain is a sign that you are growing. It is a sign that God is preparing you for something greater. Think about an athlete training for a championship. They go through intense workouts, pushing their bodies to the limit, feeling pain in every muscle. It hurts, it's uncomfortable, it's exhausting, but they don't quit because they understand that the pain is part of the process. They know that the soreness, the struggle, the exhaustion, it's making them stronger. It's preparing them for the moment when they step onto that field or that court and give their best performance. Your pain is doing the same thing. It is strengthening you. It is building resilience in you. It is teaching you lessons that you couldn't learn any other way. It is shaping you into the person you need to be for where God is taking you. But if you quit in the middle of the pain, if you let the struggle convince you to stop, You will never see the victory on the other side. Some of you have been through things that you don't understand. You've been through heartbreak that nearly broke you. You've faced losses that left you feeling empty. You've gone through setbacks that made you question if you'll ever move forward. And you've been carrying that pain like a weight on your shoulders, letting it define you, letting it hold you back. But what if the very thing you thought was meant to destroy you was actually meant to build you? Look at the most successful people in the world. Look at the people who have accomplished great things, who have changed lives, who have made an impact. Every single one of them has been through pain. Every single one of them has faced adversity. Every single one of them has a story of struggle, of failure, of rejection. But they didn't let the pain stop them. They didn't let the pain make them bitter. They didn't let the pain convince them that they were unworthy. They used it. Your pain has the power to fuel you or to destroy you. It can be the reason you quit, or it can be the reason you push harder than ever before. It can make you bitter, or it can make you better. It can make you weak, or it can make you stronger than you've ever been. The choice is yours. God never promised that life would be easy. He never said you wouldn't have struggles. He never said you wouldn't face hardship. But he did promise that he would be with you through it all. He did promise that he would use everything, even your pain, for a greater purpose. He did promise that what the enemy meant for evil, he would turn around for good. Some of you are sitting in the middle of your pain right now, and you can't see past it. You feel stuck in it. You feel like it's never going to get better. But what if I told you that the pain you're experiencing right now is setting you up for something greater? What if I told you that the very thing that broke you is the very thing that is preparing you for your breakthrough? Think about a diamond. A diamond doesn't start as something beautiful. It starts as a lump of coal. It starts as something ordinary, something that looks like nothing special. But when it is put under intense pressure, when it goes through extreme heat, when it endures the process, it becomes something valuable. It becomes something strong, something unbreakable, something that shines. That's you. You are being refined. You are being strengthened. You are being shaped into something greater than you can even imagine. And yes, the process is painful. Yes, the pressure is intense. Yes, there are moments when you want to give up. But if you can endure the process, if you can hold on through the pain, if you can keep pushing even when it hurts, you will come out stronger. You will come out wiser. You will come out ready for the purpose that God has for you. But too many people quit in the middle of the process. They let the pain convince them that they're not good enough. They let the struggle make them walk away from their dreams. They let the hardship turn them into victims instead of victors. And because of that, they never step into the fullness of what God has for them. Some of you have been asking, why me? Why did you have to go through that heartbreak? Why did you have to experience that loss? Why did you have to endure that rejection? But instead of asking, why me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? Start asking, how is this preparing me? Start asking, how can I use this pain to become stronger? Because when you start looking at your pain differently, everything changes. When you stop seeing it as something meant to break you and start seeing it as something meant to build you, you take your power back. When you stop letting pain make you a victim and start using it to make you stronger, you step into a new level of purpose. Look at the greatest leaders, the greatest innovators, the greatest change makers. They didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they endured pain, because they overcame struggles, because they didn't let the hardships stop them. They used their pain as fuel. And that's what you have to do. You have to take every ounce of pain, every tear, every setback, and use it. Use it to push harder. Use it to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. Use it to remind yourself that nothing can stop you as long as you refuse to quit. Your pain is not meaningless. Your pain is not wasted. Your pain has a purpose. It is shaping you, refining you, preparing you for the next level of your destiny. But you have to keep going. You have to trust that what you're going through now is not the end of your story. You have to believe that on the other side of this pain is a version of you that is stronger, wiser and more powerful than ever before.